folks, and welcome to another exciting episode of West Bloomfield 911. My name is David W. McNealy III, and this is my partner,
Zena, Dailey.
Folks, we have a really exciting guest for you today, Carol Finkelstein with the West Bloomfield School Board.
Yes.
But Carol, hang on for a second while I flip the show over to Z for her Daily on the Daily.
Welcome to Daily on the Daily. Today we're going to start with Ask a Cop a Question. This question came from Jennifer in West Bloomfield. If I cry during a traffic stop, will it get me out of a ticket? No, it won't. And ladies, it won't help you either. Just kidding. But really, it's not going to help you. This is the thing. When you're on a traffic stop, the officer either typically gives tickets to anyone he stops or she stops, or they give a lot of warnings. In West Bloomfield, we do give a lot of warnings, believe it or not. If you've been a victim of a ticket, you'll know that we do still actually give a lot of warnings. So don't cry. It's not going to help you. I mean, unless they're real tears. But it still won't help you get out of the ticket. All right, just an FYI. So hey, like us on Facebook, throw us a question, and we'll try to get it on here as well, okay? We're going to talk about a widespread problem in West Bloomfield. Actually, this is all over the country. So dealerships, as well as residential areas that even have surveillance cameras, are becoming victims of wheel theft. We also have a lot of larcenies that happen from your automobiles in the township, but we're going to stick to wheel theft first. So there are a lot of buyers out there that are actually requesting certain tires, and these criminals go out there and actually execute stealing these tires, and it only takes them about 2 minutes to steal all 4 tires. What you want to do to try to deter this is, if you have a 2-car garage and you have 2 cars at home, try to use your garage. And I know by working patrol in West Bloomfield that a lot of houses, a lot of residents do have more than 2 vehicles, or a 1-car garage with multiple vehicles. You do what you can to get a car in the garage. That'll help you that way, as well as lighting up your residence from the outside. You know, before I even get into how to deter it, I'm going to let you know that we also get a lot of people that leave their car doors unlocked, and so criminals are going into your cars very easily because they don't break into windows as much as they used to. Those are loud, they get your attention, and they don't want to be seen or heard. So now they'll walk around the neighborhoods and they'll pull on door handles of your car. A lot of people leave their vehicles unlocked. West Bloomfield is a very safe community. We are still in the top of the country. But that doesn't mean other people don't want your things. So keep your houses locked and your car doors locked, and that'll prevent them from taking anything out of your car. And if you just have a tendency to leave it unlocked and you just can't remember to lock it, you want to make sure you take out personal belongings, your purses, computer, laptops, people leave their checkbooks in there. You want to make sure nothing of value is in that vehicle for them to take. So we'll go back to some ways to deter this. You can leave your lights on around your house, motion detectors in the front or near your garage. That'll alert someone that tries to walk up onto your driveway. And like at my house, I actually leave lights on in the back, around the side, and the front. So you want to be mindful of that. People don't want to be seen or heard. And this also gives an opportunity for your neighbors, if they happen to be awake, to be able to, look outside, see that there's someone in your driveway they don't recognize, and they can alert you and they can alert the police. And when you do contact our dispatchers, when you call us, you want to try to get some kind of description, how many people are there, if you could tell their clothing light, dark, or if you could be more specific even, if there's a vehicle and which direction that vehicle is traveling in. All of that's going to help us, the police, when we get out there to try to locate these people. You do not want to run outside and try to scare them off. Honestly, if you could call us first, we can try to get them before they run away. So that would be the key. And that's a wrap. Dave, back to you.
Z, those are some great tips, and folks, lock your doors. Ms. Finkelstein from the school board, hang with us for a second. We'll be back. We're going to take a short station break.
You're watching West Bloomfield 911 on Civic Center TV, a service of the Greater West Bloomfield Cable Communications Commission. For more information or to watch episodes on demand, visit civiccentertv.com/WB911. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home.
Michigan is a melting pot of various cultures and races in which we all live side by side. The Anti-Defamation League is an organization that focuses on fighting anti-Semitism and bigotry of all kinds. The ADL works with schools and businesses to provide education and outreach to the community. To learn more about the Michigan Regional Anti-Defamation League, visit michigan.adl.org or call 248-353-7553.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to West Bloomfield 911. I'm David W. McNealy III, and this is my partner.
Zena, Dailey.
And folks, our guest, we're going to welcome back Carol Finkelstein with the West Bloomfield School Board. Really excited to have you on right now, Carol, because we want the residents to know the kind of resources that West Bloomfield and the greater area have at their disposal. So can you tell us right off the bat here, what are the resources that first come to your mind accessible to the residents?
There are so many resources that are available to children and their families, both within the school and families that don't attend our schools, but that live within the community. They're available. There are things like West Bloomfield Youth Assistance. There's the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition, Blessings in a Backpack. So many wonderful resources, and I'd love to take you through.
What is Youth Assistance? What is that about?
I'd love to tell you about Youth Assistance. Youth Assistance is a program through the Oakland Circuit Court's Family Division. And it's actually a diversion program for the court system. So if a juvenile gets into trouble, one opportunity is for the child to go into a diversion program rather than to get involved with the legal system. It helps keep the kid out of having a record long-term for pretty much doing something that stupid kids do.
Right.
We've all done it, and they're no different.
Right.
So this is a great opportunity for kids to maybe do some restorative justice or go into some one-on-one counseling with our caseworker that could just basically get the kid back on the right track.
Do you find that this is a very effective program?
It's an incredibly effective program. Now, a little bit more, Youth Assistance is a countywide program. It's not just here in West Bloomfield.
Okay.
There is Youth Assistance office in every one of the school districts within Oakland County. And pretty much the offices are located within the different high schools. So they're very readily accessible, but that doesn't mean that they're just available to high school students. They're available to children of all ages and to their families.
And Carol, you said Oakland County, so now I'm going to grab one of your other 20 hats that you wear. You're also affiliated with the Oakland County School Board. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's the Oakland County School Boards Association, so representative of the different school boards we have our own separate association where we meet, we do professional development, we learn about different things that affect all of our children and their education. And we have a board of directors, which I sit on now for the next 3 years, and we help just develop the different programming for the different school board members to help develop professionally.
How do you feel like some of your background has come into play in what you do now?
Oh, you know, I got involved in advocacy for children when my son was very little.
Okay.
He has asthma and some severe food allergies. So I realized that my child did not have the right to carry his asthma inhaler or his epinephrine auto-injector in school with him. And I thought that wasn't right. If he was able, physically and emotionally able, mature enough to carry it, why should that be taken away from him?
Right.
And putting some of those things in the school office, there's a time like there that could mean life and death to a child like my son. So I became an advocate. And I worked with, at the time, my first bill was with Representative Mark Schulman. And it allows children now to carry their epinephrine auto-injector or their rescue inhaler with certain conditions, like they have to have an emergency plan on file with the school. They have to have the permission of both the parents and the physician.
Okay.
And it's not based on a grade or an age, it's based on the maturity of the child.
That was actually my question. Is there an age for that?
There is not.
It's when the parent and doctor believe that this child can do it themselves.
Well, it's not even that they have to be able to auto-inject or use their inhaler, but that they're capable of carrying it on their person.
Okay.
Because there really are two different facets to that. One is the ability to carry it,
Right.
and the other is then the ability to use it. And in a case of severe anaphylaxis, the child may not be able to self-administer anyways.
Right.
They may be losing consciousness and just not be able, and they may need someone. But just having that rescue device that close, that proximity is huge.
So do the parents that work with the teacher, if you're in elementary school and you have one teacher generally, the parent work with that teacher so that they know they are carrying it? And then when they get into the high school, the teacher's administration also know this child's carrying it? They wear something indicating they carry it?
Well, it's interesting. We, over the past couple of years in West Bloomfield schools, we developed some new protocols where at the beginning of the year, the parents fill out a form that talks about a lot of different health concerns that could affect that
Allergies
child.
and things like
It's
that.
allergies, it's asthma. Your child may
Okay.
be a diabetic.
Right.
The child may be an autism spectrum, may have some other emotional problems. Just things that open up that door so the school is aware of it,
Yeah.
so that if something does happen, it's not a huge surprise.
Right.
And then if it's a child, for example, that has a food allergy, that needs to have that device, then that helps trigger that the right paperwork is done.
Right.
And so that everybody knows that this child has it, where it's kept, et cetera, so that in case of an emergency, the staff can respond. And again, that should be in most schools.
Right.
We hope that that's in most schools. We can only speak from West Bloomfield.
Part of the West Bloomfield School Board, I mean, you guys do continuing education, so I would imagine that teachers go through this kind of training and they're alerted, like you said, with that certain paperwork. Is that for all of Oakland County? Do they do the same thing and it's mandated throughout all the schools when you guys got this particular law passed?
Well, the issue of self-carry and self-administer is really separate from the paperwork that a child would have to self-administer. So that's one issue. But then the training that the teachers go through, that's mandated. Every teacher gets
Okay.
that no matter what, and school staff. They always get that training every year, regardless. But West Bloomfield just took it that one step further to make sure that we sort of flush out the kids
Okay.
that are self-carrying or that have these other health concerns that people just need to know about.
Is this just in West Bloomfield schools, or is this in the county that you were able to implement or get this ability for the kids to carry?
No, that's
Or indoor use?
statewide.
Okay,
That is
wow, so you-
statewide. And that
it's
affects
amazing.
not only just the schools, but also the second bill that I did had to do with camps. Because then if your child goes away to a
Yeah.
day camp or even an overnight
That's
camp.
a big deal.
Right.
That's a
You want them
big
to be
deal.
educated,
Absolutely.
which is going to lead me to my next question, something that I saw that's going to be mandated, and hopefully you can touch on this. The CPR. When does that go in effect, if you know? And
That's going to start this fall.
Okay.
We'll start having to teach CPR in the schools.
Now, are you an advocate for that? I imagine you're an advocate for
Absolutely,
it.
absolutely.
So it'll be a course in the schools?
It will be integrated into
Okay.
the current curriculum. It'll just be one more facet of that.
Mm-hmm.
And so every kid then, before they graduate from high school, will have to have some training
Oh, okay.
in CPR.
I think that's awesome.
I think that's amazing.
awesome.
And any time you have an opportunity to save a life, and people stand by when someone is down.
They freeze.
Because they freeze.
It
And
makes
this way,
them an automatic first responder because
Right.
Zena and I are first responders. I imagine
Absolutely.
you have the training also. So
Absolutely.
that makes that young person, when they do call 911, they're able to assess a scene already and kind of give us an idea, because we had Fire Marshal Turnquist on. He gave us a lot of cool tips for people about 911. But now that we know students across the state are going to have that opportunity to get educated that way, that's a really cool thing.
that's an amazing, amazing step forward.
And how early are they going to start that in the schools? How young will the kid be when they start learning that? Is it in high school?
That's going to be a high
school
school
level?
age, and whether or not that changes down the
Right.
road is up to our legislature, but that was mandated, but that is a graduation requirement.
Okay. You said, so you've been involved, you've been doing a lot of things in the county, the township and the county. How do you feel like the school system has changed from when you were in school and up to now? And what do you feel like you would be able to, other than what we've talked about, add to it?
Well, I graduated from high school a very long time ago. I don't want to tell you how many years, but it's been a number of years. And our children now, especially in West Bloomfield, have so many more opportunities. We have AP classes.
agree,
We have
yeah.
so many career paths.
Yeah.
And with the new STEAM program available, basically now K-12, the kids have an opportunity to actually explore a career path well before they get into college. And those were opportunities that I never had. And it's so exciting to see those great educational things for our kids.
What is STEAM exactly?
STEAM is an acronym for Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, and Mathematics.
Okay.
And so that encompasses things like an engineering, if kids want to explore an engineering pathway for their career. But at the high school, they also have other pathways that include things like there's a medical mentorship opportunity. There are different artistic things. There's an architecture academy. So there are some really great opportunities for kids to really dig deep and really explore. Is this the way I want to go, the career path that I want? Or, well, gee, I've explored it. Now I realize it's not for me.
Yeah.
And to be able to find that out before you hit college is really exciting.
Right, because you end up changing your major. Not that that's wrong, but then this will help you determine if that's what you want to do the first time around.
Absolutely.
Carol, I'm going to jump in here for a second. Now, just to take another one of your hats away, you're not the only person serving the public in greater surrounding area. Your husband does something significant. Let's give him some kudos today. What does your husband do?
Absolutely. My husband Norman is the current mayor of the city of Orchard Lake and has proudly served on the city council for several years as well. So he really does serve our community well, and I'm so proud of all of his accomplishments.
That's pretty cool. So you guys are both out there in the community serving the greater West Bloomfield area. So that's, I just wanted to say hi to the hubby.
I read somewhere something about advanced placement in the elementary school level. Is that something you were involved in?
No, unfortunately, that's sort of outside of, I've not.
Of what you handle?
Yeah, that's outside of what these Board of Education does.
Okay.
I'm more involved personally with a lot of the different organizations that bring a lot of the resources into the schools.
Okay.
Like the youth assistants and the coalition and some of those. And I'd love the opportunity to tell you more about those.
Go ahead, please.
Great. Well, if I could just finish off on the youth assistants.
Yes.
Let me just tell you a little bit more about opportunities for families with youth assistants. Our casework can work with any family. And you can be referred either by the schools. Sometimes law enforcement does the referral.
Let's say, does it always have to be a situation where we are involved, or Z and I would be involved?
Absolutely
Can it be a child that's in need of food, or a child that's in need of that's having maybe parental issues, things like that? They can be referred besides a law enforcement interaction.
Absolutely. And a lot of times the referrals will come either from a family member, a friend, or the parents themselves, because they're seeing changes in their child.
Yeah.
And especially those middle and high school years, sometimes those kids, you start to see things, and prevention is a very big
Carol,
part.
what do you mean by
Absolutely.
that? You mean behavioral changes, or what do you mean by that?
It could.
For our viewers.
It could be. It could be suddenly some behavior changes. It could be truancy from school. It could be some incorrigibility in the school where the kid's getting in trouble.
Perhaps?
Grades are slipping. Something's going on. Maybe the parent can't quite put their finger on what it is, but they know there's something wrong, and they need someone else to become involved. And sometimes the school counselors can help. Sometimes they can't. But the beauty of youth assistance is that they can mandate things that the schools can't.
Okay.
Because of their involvement with the courts. They're sort of an outside. So they can really help these kids get into some different programming and maybe some behavior contracts.
So how do they get a hold of
schools
youth
can't do.
assistants? Do you have an email that you can give us, or a phone number that you give?
Well, I can tell you the easiest way is to go on the website. It's wbyouthassistance.org. And I will make sure that the phone number is also put up.
Okay.
But again, these are great programs. And Youth Assistance does even more than that. They have a mentoring program that matches children one-on-one to a caring adult. So a child maybe it's a divorce situation, maybe there's a parent that's deployed in the military, and that child is really needing that second parent.
Okay.
And we can get a mentor involved with that child one-on-one for some weekly activities. So those are exciting things. But Youth Assistance also partners with other organizations, and we bring in different programs into the schools and the community, like things like anti-bullying programming, teen mental health,
Right.
to help reduce the stigma of seeking assistance for mental health issues. Internet safety is another one of the big programs that they also co-sponsor, where we teach kids about how to not only stay safe on the internet, but to clean up their digital footprint before they start applying to colleges, because colleges
That
now
is so important.
they check. And they'll check your Facebook page, and they'll see what you've been up to.
And employers as well.
Absolutely.
That is so important.
Absolutely. So those are some of the programs, and again, youth assistance is available across the county. We also have another one that's within our school district, and that's the Greater West Bloomfield Community Coalition. And this is another really exciting group of amazingly dedicated volunteers that bring a lot of things to our kids.
They're all volunteer, they don't get paid.
There's one employee, and that's Lisa Berkey, who runs the organization, but everyone else is a volunteer.
Okay.
And they have the Kids in Charge program for kindergarten through 5th grade. and it's an anti-drug, anti-tobacco, and anti-alcohol program that really teaches kids to
Carol, how
avoid
does
those
someone
things.
volunteer? Are you able to tell the viewers if someone else wants to get involved to help? How do they
Absolutely.
get involved?
Well, they can contact Lisa Berkey from the coalition, and the easiest way to get a hold of them is to go to the website gwbcoalition.org and reach out and volunteer your time, because our kids really need it. And these prevention programs, the earlier you start them, the more effective they are.
Right.
And one of the other great things that program teaches kids is not just to avoid those things, but to avoid the peer pressure and how to handle peer pressure, because that's always a problem for kids, is
Right.
learning to say no.
Right.
And so
not feel left out.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
and not feel left
Or an
out.
outcast.
Exactly.
Or bullied into.
Absolutely.
Bullied into it.
Absolutely. So those are the types of things. And the coalition and youth assistance are two great partners that bring a lot of these programs. They partner with other organizations like Henry Ford, West Bloomfield, Maple Grove, that program to bring a lot of these anti-drug and anti-bullying and anti-alcohol programs into our community to really help prevent a lot of the problems that a lot of other communities that don't have these resources. So we're preventing a lot of problems.
Are there any other organizations like this that the parents can look into?
Well, there are other programs, but there are some statewide things that I think that we should make sure that the viewers know about. And probably one of the best ones is the OK to Say program, and that is a statewide program that was started by Attorney General Bill Schuette.
That just started, what, last year? Was it
It was a
officially
little
kicked
over
off?
a year ago, yeah, actually in September of 2014. And you
Okay.
know, they've already had more than 6,400 tips.
Wow.
And this is a program that
And
allows
tips regarding
regarding
violence, bullying.
bullying,
It's
any
an
kind of
assorted
violence, yes.
thing
Wow.
that you can report, correct?
Absolutely, and you can do it anonymously. You can do it either via text to OK to Say, which is 652-729, and you can just text it. You can be anonymous. You could call 1-855-5-OK to Say, or you can go to the website, which is www.mi.gov/OK, the number 2, Say. And this is to report anything that a child feels threatens their safety. Again, as you mentioned, bullying, harassment, cyberbullying, any sort of self-harm, drugs, or any kind of violence.
What happens once they send this message out or they deliver that any of this stuff is happening? What is the process? What happens?
Well, then behind the scenes, what will happen
Right.
is that will be relayed down to the different local authorities
Okay.
and the local schools to help
Okay.
begin an investigation. Again, in this way, the kid is not known as a snitch,
Right.
which is very important, but we can get the right people
They can
involved.
remain behind the scenes
Right.
and then still alert the authorities to an event, say even just a fight at the school or somebody
Absolutely.
bullying, etc. Because
That is really nice.
I'm team trained, so that's part of the training that I got, that Officer Rick also has done for many, many years in the schools. I know you know that, because I'm sure that's why you
Absolutely.
make contact with Rick. And we were privy to that before it actually kicked off, so it's actually a pretty cool thing, and I'm glad to see it's actually in effect now.
It's amazing how effective this program has been. And, you know, a lot of times fights that happen in schools, and not saying that our district has this problem, but it happens all over the
Right.
state and all over the country. You know, if there is something, there's usually a rumbling, a little undercurrent of there's some whispering going on in the
Right.
building before it ever happens. And this is a great way to stop anything from ever happening
Absolutely.
and prevent innocent children from being caught in whatever it is. So
That's
it's
what
great.
they do. Z and I both get this training often because we're fortunate to work for West Bloomfield, and we get continuous education. That's one of the things they always say in regards to any major event, be it an active assailant or whatnot. Somebody knew prior
Right.
to, so
Somebody
knew.
say is another way for kids to get the ability to do that and remain anonymous and not be put out there with their
Absolutely.
peers.
Absolutely.
You know what, that OK to say, so how, let's just say I'm a high school student and I'm in class and I know something's going to happen. How quickly, when they text you, will they get a response, or will something go into action?
You know, I think it depends on what you put into that text.
Okay.
If you
Time
say,
sensitive
like,
then.
this
Okay.
is imminent, this is like,
Today at
we
4
need-
o'clock.
Today at 4 o'clock, need help now.
Okay.
You know, these things are not going to sit around
That
for a
makes
long
sense.
time growing dust on them.
Okay.
People are looking at them and making sure. I would hope that if somebody knew that there was something that was that imminent, that rather than even do that, they would reach out to the principal.
Absolutely.
Or they would call 911 themselves and report, hey, this is what I'm hearing. You know, find a way to do it and
Carol, we only got a
prevent.
couple minutes left. Tell the viewers here anything that you think could be pertinent right now to help a special needs situation, or like you said, a bullying situation, or even just perhaps a mental health. Zena and I were talking a little bit off camera, and I heard you guys talking as well. What resource could you give them right now while we have a couple minutes left?
Well, I have a couple of them. Number one, there's a huge problem with internet safety.
Yeah.
And Secretary of State Ruth Johnson has the Protect My Child website, and you can register your child's cell phone number, their email address, as well as their instant messaging ID. And,
Wow.
and basically stop anything that's illegal, alcohol, tobacco, pornography,
Wow.
from hitting that device.
Wow.
So it can help
Okay.
filter those things. But there's another wonderful
Is there a
resource.
website for that?
There is a website for that that I will give you in just a quick second. It is www.protectmychild.com. And one other thing that you can access from that website is there is an excellent user's guide for parents called the Protect My Child Cyber Tips Guide. And it teaches parents how to, on whatever type of device they have, whether it's an Android, a Mac, an Apple device, whatever it might be, to enable the safe search mode and to give some internet safety for your child. So that's another good program. We do have children in need in this community, and I do not want to finish this episode without talking about blessings in a backpack. You know, a lot of families are low income in our community, or maybe there's a disaster that happens in the family, a loss of a job, a death, an illness, an accident that takes away a primary wage earner, and all of a sudden a family that was a middle income family finds themselves in need. And we never want a child to have to worry about where their next meal comes from.
Right.
So in addition to the free and reduced lunch program that's available in every school district around the country, we have blessings in a backpack. And Kathy Chico, former principal of Chico Elementary, is the maven who brought this to us, and we're so grateful for her continued involvement. And at-risk children from grades K through 5 that qualify for the free and reduced, or that are in an emergency situation, can be referred for the program. Just because you're on free and reduced doesn't mean you have to participate. It is optional.
Right.
People can say, yes, I need it, no, I don't. Or you can go to the principal and say, look, you know, I don't really qualify, but this is my situation, and you can get a referral. And a backpack of some nutritious foods goes home with those children every Friday, reliably, so that we know that those children are getting things like, it might be pasta, tuna, juice boxes, cereal, things that'll help get them through that weekend.
Right.
Carol, I want to thank you so much for coming. We were really excited to get you on. We knew you'd be a plethora of information.
Thank you so
and
much,
great
Carol.
Thank you.
resources for us. Folks, that's going to do it for another exciting episode of West Bloomfield 911. My name is David W. McNealy III, and this is my partner.
Zena Dailey.
Thanks for joining us again, guys. And if you guys want to follow us for West Bloomfield PD, you can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. You can also catch any of these episodes or any past episodes on civiccentertv.com. You can also reach us if you want the most up-to-date public safety information for Nexel.com. Thanks for watching us again, guys. Bye-bye.